Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, let's discuss a little briefly the halacha of shiur hakos. What's the proper shiur measurement that we need our 4 kosot or 4 cups to be when it comes to Leila Seder, on the 4 nights of the Seder, on the nights of Seder? How much do we need to have in our cups when we drink for the Dalet kosot, Arba kosot on the night of the Seder? So where did this all begin? There's a Gemara in Pesachim, Daf Kuftet Amud Aleph. That's the source of how much a Reviit is. The Gemara says, Amar Rav Chisda, Reviit shel Torah, the Reviit that the Torah talks about, Eitzba'aim al Eitzba'aim, Berom Eitzba'aim, V'chatzi Etzba, V'chomesh Etzba. The Gemara says, Rav Chisda explains that the Reviit that the Torah talks about, this measurement of a Reviit that the Torah mentions, is 2 finger widths, 2 in length, by 2 in width, by 2 and half an etzba and a fifth of an etzba, meaning what's a half plus a fifth? 0.7, right? Okay. So 2.7. So 2 finger widths by 2 finger widths, length, width by 2.7 high, right? I'm correct. Yes, right? Because half an etzba is 0.5, a fifth of an etzba is 2 over 10, which is 0.2, so 0.7. Okay, so 2.7 etzbas high. Okay, so 2 by 2.7 is the Gemara.
The whole thing.
No, etzba is the width, officially the width of between here and here.
Oh, this way?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
etzba?
yeah. That's etzba, yeah.
Oh, that was this.
Yeah. So the Gemara learns this all out from mikvaot. We're not going to get into that because we said we'll keep the shiur short. But that's the famous Gemara in Pesachim, 10th parak, Arba Pesachim. So now the $1 million question is, what on earth does this mean? Etzbaim, berom etzbaim, bechatzi etzba, b'chomesh etzba. What is this 2 by 2.7 measurement? What does it mean? How do we put that into modern day terms? So here come the few shittot, and this is actually the sugya that ties into all of the shiurim, all the measurements in the Torah, the differences, and we'll see now why we have a few different opinions in halacha. The opinion of the Rif comments on this Gemara in Pesachim, Daf Kuftet Amud Aleph, Shiur Reviit hu betza umechsa. He defines this 2 by 2.7 in height to a betza umechza, an egg and a half, 1.5 eggs. So very good. What on earth is an egg?
No?
Very good. So that's a machloket also. We'll get there. So how does the Rif learn it out? So we'll keep it short, but because a log is 6 betzim, and Reviit is a quarter of a log. So based on that calculation, therefore a Reviit would be 1.5 eggs. Good? So we just equated now from Reviit to betza, to an egg. And now the most important prerequisite to all this is that these are all shiurim in volume. Right now it's not such a difficult thing because we're talking about drinking a liquid. So obviously it's in volume, you don't weigh your liquid. But so these shiurim are all in the volume. The volume of the Reviit is a liquid measurement anyway, but the betza, the measurement of the betza, is also done in volume. Long discussions written about this. Ayin or Letzon Chalek Gimel in the beginning, the Mavo talks about it. The Chazon Ish talks about it.
It's by Mishkal?
No, Rav Ovadia, if you look at it, Rav Ovadia writes Mishkal. I know what you're going to quote. It's not accurate. Rav Ovadia writes Mishkal because people don't know how to convert from volume to weight. But if you look at Rav David Yosef's Orchot Maran, he says it explicitly. He writes that Rav Ovadia told us that it's by volume. All of mentioned in the Torah by volume, and the volume is a correct way to measure it.
We went over the whole thing, all the shiurim. We said we go by weight, Mishkal, and Rav Yitzchak Yosef, I have a photo of it, and his Motishvat Shiur said we go by weight.
We go by weight because this generation is stupid people, and they don't know how to calculate from volume to weight.
But Rav Yitzchak did say interestingly that by water weight, by a cubic centimeter of water, that is 1 gram.
Exactly. That's why exactly. So in liquids, when we're talking about liquid, 1 cubic centimeter of water is equal to 1 gram. So that's why it's interchangeable. The problem is by matzah. We're not going to talk about matzah right now. I want to keep the shiur about the Reviit.
They did a whole volume.
Yeah. I've done it hundreds of times.
Put an egg in there?
Volume is done via displacement.
Put it in water?
You put the item into a canister of water and you see how much water was displaced. That's the volume of that item.
With the shell or without the shell?
Machloket, very good. Big machloket. We'll talk about that later. As some say im klipata, some say without klipata. We'll define these things momentarily. But yeah, it's a machloket, big machloket. it's also all of these things are machloket achronim rishonim, how you measure these things. But that's a different shiur of the matzah measurement. How much is even the matzah? We're talking specifically right now about the drinking of the cups. They're interchangeable because all of the measurements in the Torah are transferable. Think about the metric system that you can weight and volume and liquids. You can all interchange grams, kilograms, milliliter, cubic centimeter. They're all interchangeable. The English system, the American system we use isn't so. It's not convenient because there's no proper way to transfer from an ounce to a fluid ounce to a pound to all these different things. So it's more complicated. So that's what we're going to speak in terms of the metric system as well. So that's the opinion of the Rif. What's this 2 by 2 by 2.7? That is an egg and a half, 1.5 eggs, because a log is 6 betzim and Reviit is a quarter of a log. Therefore, a Reviit is 1.5 eggs. Very good. The tzlach, this is the same author as the Noda B'Yehuda. The Tziyun Nefesh Chaya, Noda B'Yehuda. He, Rabbi Cheskel Landau, I think, Halevi, I think that was his name. You can check that and correct me. But he has a kushya.
Not your skama.
He has no. I asked him for it. He said, "Yeah." He has a kushya in his Gemara on Pesachim Kuftet Zayin. He brings a kushya, and he says that shiur betza umechza eno mistader im shiur hagmara shel etzba'im. He says that doesn't make sense because this idea of an egg and a half doesn't equal to 2 by 2 by 2.7 in height. Therefore, after the tzlach does his measurements, he explains that the eggs in our generation have gotten smaller than the eggs in the time of the Gemara that they were referring to. How much smaller? Up to a half smaller. Our eggs are half the size of what the eggs were back then. Crazy. Therefore, the tzlach explains that what's a revi'it? The revi'it is the volume of 3 eggs. Rav Tzadok writes in his book, volume also, by the way. But whatever. Volume of 3 eggs. And what's that? And so we have the egg measurement and also the thumb measurement. We said you can measure 2 by 2 by 2.7 thumbs. It's ba'ayim, al etzba'ayim. Or the Rif explained that measurement of the etzba'ayim, this amount of volume that the 2 by 2 by 2.7 would take up is an egg and a half. The tzlach says no, our eggs are half the size, so it would be 3 eggs. So what's the measurement of a thumb? The tzlach says the measurement of a thumb is 2.4 centimeters. So we can do the math now. Open your calculator.
We said that the size of the egg changes.
Very good. So the tzlach says it. The gra also says it. The gra says all of our measurements are half the size.
Half the size.
Can it change door to door?
Half is 0.5.
You said according to the.
No, so it's double.
According to the Rif, you said it was 1.5.
Very good. 1.5 eggs is equal to a revi'it.
So now it's 2 times as small.
Exactly. Our eggs are smaller, so for us today, it's 3 eggs is a revi'it. That's what the tzlach says. Good?
Oh, but the Reviit stays the same.
No, we'll get there.
The Reviit stays the same.
Revi'it, Revi'it, we don't know what it is. That's what the problem is with Achronim. Okay? Yeah. The Gemara gives the Revi'it measurement and it says it measures it in finger widths. Okay? So according to the tzlach, each finger width, each etzba is 2.4 centimeters. So if you do 4.8 times 4.8, do that math. First do actually the height. So 2.7, do 2.7 times 2.4. Good. So keep that saved at 6.48. Now do times 4.8. 6.48 times 4.8. 6.48 times 4.8. Wait, you just, 6.48 times 4.8 times 4.8. 149. Therefore, that's exactly what we explained. According to the tzlach, a revi'it is 149.29, 150 grams of water, which is equal to cubic centimeters milliliter. That's a lot. That comes out to 5 ounces around.
That's like times 2 we hold. We hold like 81, no?
Very good. So now, what other opinions? Hagaon Rav Chaim Na'eh, he explains that I appreciate what you write, that tzlach, that you measured with your thumbs. Your thumbs, it doesn't add up. Your thumb's 2.4 centimeter. What does the tzlach say?
That's a huge amount.
5 ounces, correct. 150 grams of water. The tzlach disagrees. It's also the opinion of the Gra, by the way, which is fascinating. The tzlach explained, the Hagon Rav Chaim Na'eh in his Sefer Shiurei Torah, his fantastic Sefer, incredible, did an awesome work. He writes it in modern day language, modern day milliliter. He passed away, 40 years ago? I think Rabbi Chaim was at his Levaya.
Whoa.
I think Rabbi Chaim says he held his coffin, I think, on the Levaya. But I think. But in his Sefer of Shiurei Torah, I think it was also Chabad rabbi, but in Yerushalayim. He writes that, good, we have this Gemara that says 2 by 2 by 2.7 fingers. The Rif explains that it's equal to 1.5 eggs. But we have a Rambam that explains in Pirush Mishnayot that a Reviit is what? A Reviit is close to 27 darham. 27 darham. A darham is a what? It's a coin in Egypt during the time of the Rambam. He translated it for us to the coin of Egypt. And the Hagon of Chaim Naeh explains that what's a darham? Each darham is like 3.2 grams in weight. Okay? Therefore,
But do we hold that? Do we only find 3 gram ones?
we'll get there momentarily. 1 second. The Chaim Naeh didn't say. Hagon of Chaim Naeh didn't say that. Ravadi adds that. According to Hagon of Chaim Naeh, each darham is 3.2 grams, and the Rambam tells us there's 27 darham in every revi'it. So what's 27 times 3.2?
86.
86. Very good. 86.4. So therefore, time we do the math like that backwards, what's the size of a centimeter? What's the centimeter of a thumb?
How does he get 3.2 though? Where does he get that number from for a dirham?
So based on what he found on his research. Very good. He explains that each dirham is 3.2 grams. If we can look at his book, he explains it at length. But where is it? Yeah, I think he does his research based on what they found at the time when he was writing his book. Each dirham was 3.2 grams, or maybe it was based on Masorah. It's a good question. But what comes to be from this is that the measurement of a thumb of an agudal is 2 centimeters. So again, the Gemara gives a measurement based on thumbs. Two thumbs by 2.7 thumbs. We don't know how much a thumb is. The Rif says it's equal to 1.5 eggs. The Tzlach says our eggs are smaller, half the size. It's really 3 eggs. Therefore, each thumb is 2.4 centimeter, and you get 150 grams is a Reviit. The Tzlach says we have the Rambam. He tells us in dirham, 27 darham is a Reviit. How many darham? Each darham is 3.2 grams, 86. So it comes out to be almost half. 150 is like the Tzlach, and 86 is the Hagon of Chaim Naeh.
Makes sense because he said it's 50% bigger. So
very good. Yeah, exactly. He says it's double the size almost. Rav Ovadia, like Jacob was mentioning, Rav Ovadia recently, meaning at the end of his life, did the research and explains that he did the research and looked into the darham, and all of the darham that they looked at in Egypt that they found at archaeological sites, the largest of all of the dirham, how we pronounce it, was only 3 grams. So Rovadia explains that really, you can see in Halachot Yechavedan Chelek Daled Siman Nun Hey, Halachot Olam Chelek Av page Reish Pei Tet. But over there, he explains that therefore a Reviit isn't 86 grams, it's only 81 grams. Okay, minus kamina 5 grams, not the end of the world. Comes out to 2.74 ounces, 2.81 ounces, but around there. So we see that there's the opinion of the Tzlach, that's 5 ounces almost, or 150 grams. Hagan Chaim Naeh and Rovadia, that's 81. How do we hold the halacha? So the Mishnah Berurah holds, this is by Halachot of Kiddush, I think. He explains that when it comes to Deoraita mitzvah, you should be choshesh to the Tzlach. The Tzlach is the one that says 150 grams, which 5 ounces. For Kiddush of Friday night, you should be choshesh. But by derabanans, you can rely on the minhag of the olam to be mekel like Hagan of Chaim Naeh. That's the Mishnah Berurah. That's Mishnah Berurah. Rav Ovadia disagrees completely and says there's no reason whatsoever. We have our minhag, we have the Rambam, we have the halacha follows like Hagan of Chaim Naeh based on the Rambam that each Reviit is 81. He says 81 grams, 86 grams. No big difference, but that it's much smaller shiur. Now. We're reading now inside of Shulchan Aruch. We're reading now Siman Taf Ayin Bet Seif Tet. This is in Halachot Pesach Seder, talking about the 4 cups. Shiur HaKos. The measurement of the kos is what? Reviit le'achar sheim zegenu. It's a reviit after you mix it, and you pour water into it, because back then their wine was syrupy. You couldn't drink wine straight. You had to add water to it, to a 3 to 1, meaning 3 chalakim was water, 1 quarter was wine. That's the ratio they used.
So
That's not the same ratio we use today.
Was a fourth or was a third of it?
A fourth of the cup was, don't worry, a fourth of the cup was wine back then. For us, we don't dilute the same amount, because our wines already have a lot of water added to it. So Rabbi Chaim says with our wine, you can't dilute more than half. Like, you have to at least 51% based on the Ish Matzliach. At least 51% needs to be wine. Don't dilute it more.
Nowadays our wine is 100% wine?
No, nowadays our wine already has water in it. So if you dilute it too much, it's no longer wine.
When it says 14% wine, what does that mean?
That means the alcohol content. That's not the wine amount.
How much wine is in there generally?
You're saying percentage-wise of the...
Yeah, wine versus water.
So this is a famous machloket with kedem, grape juice, and kedem light. Happens to be the OU, and Rabbi Moshe Aziz, when he was there, he saw that even kedem light for Sfaradim is okay. I know Rabbi Elbaz is a little machmir, but based on what Rabbi Moshe saw himself, and he said that they don't mix. It's like 60. Kedem light is like 65% grape content and 35% water content. That's what he saw based on his research. But if
It's just less sugar. What's the regular kedem?
No, it's
regular,
less grape juice.
it's less. It's less grape
It's more
juice
water.
and more water, but it's still enough for the Sfaradim. That's what he saw when he was at the factory. I know Rabbi is strict with kedem light.
So anyone just had to have
Regular wine for us for in New York is nowadays more or less, thanks to Ovadia, when he changed the whole Eid Haredi. That's a separate discussion of how much wine to water ratio can work. Rama says in Hilchot Brachot that it could be up to 1/6 wine.
We hold rov though.
We hold it needs more. Yeah, we hold it needs more.
51%.
Yeah, in our bottles today, it needs to be majority.
No, what is it though?
The specific amount in what?
How much regular wine? How much percentage?
You bring a
Is it
bottle
grape?
of kedem to the table.
Not kedem.
You're saying I'm
Wine.
squeezing grape.
No, Barcelona.
Bartenura. I don't
Can
know.
I dilute it?
I don't know how much you can dilute it. It's a good question. I haven't looked into that. You have to ask.
The bottle stuff has to be 51% grape, right?
Yeah.
The bottles
They're
themselves
mostly
with like proper hechsher, with the Sephardi hechshers on it, are all okay for Ladat Maran. And today,
I'm saying
because of
how much is that?
Ravadia, they all have at least 51% of wine in
that's what
it. They have much more wine in it, much more, because you can still dilute it up to half, and it'll still be okay. More than half, today we shouldn't dilute. Ish Metzilach gives that rule also. Don't dilute, except for Kedem Light. That you shouldn't dilute as much. But everything else, that any real wine has a lot of grape content in it, so you could still dilute a little, and it's okay. But just to give a little more shitot while we're on the topic, and then I'll say a cute story with Rabbi Chaim and wrap this up. There are many other opinions. What the opinion of the proper shiur, a Reviit is. Chazonish. This is the opinion everyone hears when they say the Chazonish, the Shir Chazonish. He holds like the tzlach. He holds like the tzlach, the Noda B'Yehuda. So he's machmir. That's why when everyone yells it's the Chazonish Shir, they're really supposed to say the tzlach Shir, the V'cheskel Landau Shir, but that's 5 ounces. I don't know why, because I found more machmir opinions. I found the Chatam Sofer and the Rabbi Kiva Eger. They said each thumb is actually 2.5 centimeters. So if you do the math, that's 5 times 5 by whatever it is. It comes out to around like 100. Each Reviit's around 170 grams. So I don't know why the minhag for those who are machmir is. I don't know why they ended at that tzlach. Why don't they go all the way to the Chatam Sofer?
Chazonish.
Maybe because of the Chazonish. Probably because of the Chazonish. Chatam Sofer is not Rabbi Kiva Eger. He's not a joke either. But okay, in Achanami, probably because Chazonish was their posek in Bnei Brak 100 years ago. So they 70 years ago. So they follow him. But so there are more strict opinions that say each thumb is 2.5 centimeters. So when you do the calculation, Reviit comes out to 170. Rav Moshe Feinstein is directly in the middle. He says each thumb is 2.2 centimeters. So when we do that calculation, it's around 110. You can do the math right now. To 2.7 times 2.2 times 4.4 times 4.4. So 115. So Rav Moshe Feinstein says a Reviit is 115 milliliters. Again, these are all grams equal to a milliliter, which is equal to cubic centimeter. Once you get grams, you can convert it to ounces to know. But for us, we have Rav Ovadia, we have Hagon Rav Chaim Naeh, we have Rabban Chaim. We hold that unanimously, Reviit is 81, 86, whatever, same thing pretty much. Less than 3 ounces. Take a 3-ounce cup and use that for your seder. Don't worry. Even for the first cup, we don't have to be choshesh to the Mishnah Berurah per se that it's need to have a bigger shiur for our cups. Therefore, Rabbi Chaim tells everyone, take a 3-ounce cup and use that for your seder. That's more than enough for according to Rav Ovadia. Rav Ovadia, he says you need 2.74 ounces, 81 milliliters. Even according to Chaim Naeh, 86 milliliters. You're good with the 3-ounce cup because that's like 2.96, I think. So whatever it is, or even less maybe, but whatever it is, Reviit for us, la halacha, our cup should be 3 ounces, and we don't need to be choshesh to the bigger opinions. If whoever wants to be machmir, they can be, but these are the opinions of the different sizes of the Reviit. Now, Rabbi Chaim explains it could be very simple. The question is, how are there so many different shitot? How come each achron has a different shita? How big a Reviit is? So what does Rabbi Chaim say?
It's supposed to be.
No, because they all have different sized thumbs. Says the European rabbis were chunkier, they were heavier, they were a little bit fatter.
They had some.
He was saying a joke, but he's being serious.
Good
So when he measured his thumb, it doesn't add up to what the Rambam says of the Darham.
Yeah, but double?
Okay, they were chunkier.
50% more.
You're measuring thumb, and then and the Rambam, and then the Rambam was from Teiman, Yemen. Teiman is very skinny. They're very small. So his etzbah was 2 centimeters.
Great.
And that's Rabbi Chaim, and it's a beautiful shot
They
that.
would actually take their thumbs.
Yeah, Rav Moshe Feinstein says it doesn't read the tshuva. You can bring
It
the,
was like 4'11".
you can bring a tshuva, but he had chunky fingers apparently. He says, I measured it myself. He says, I measured it myself. It doesn't make sense. That's
was very, very
look at his tshuva. You go Moshe. His tshuva says, I measured it myself. It doesn't make sense. Therefore, it's 2.2. Yeah, because everyone had a different size thumb. That's what Rabbi Chaim says. The European rabbis were chunkier. The Taimani, the Rambam was skinnier. His thumb was smaller. Their thumbs were bigger. That's why this confusion developed. But for us, we have our minhag. We don't have to worry. We can follow halacha like our Mesorah. Be proud of our minhag, of the Rambam, of the Rav Ovadia, of what we have to do. We don't have to be choshesh to the Mishnah Berurah who says, L'chatchila midoraita, to take a larger cup. Now, why is this a big nafkamina? Because the Maran continues, I kept it for the last line. He writes, Shiur hakos revi'it lachar shem zegenu im rotzeh lemozgo ve'yishteh kulo or rubo. You have to drink all of it or majority of it. What?
6 ounces.
Oh, finally someone was machmir like Rabbi Kiva Eger. I said, why is... Chatam Sofer, I said both opinions. We missed it. I said, why is no one machmir? Everyone says chazonish, chazonish, chazonish. There's more machmir opinions.
Doesn't make any sense.
Why?
Because they double the Reviit, but they double it on when it's already like double the feel of Shita. So it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you're saying they double it twice.
So
Was that
I did it
1.5
last
was also
year.
double?
I might do it again this year.
What?
Be proud of your Sparty heritage. Rav Ovadia, how much did he drink?
I have no idea.
So check Orchot Maran. He
That's
drank
crazy.
81,
He
86
actually
ounces.
only drank grape juice by the Seder. Only grape juice.
2.74. 2.74.
Wait, you did 6 ounces
7.4.
last year?
Take a 3-ounce cup, you're fine.
You would only drink
Fanatic.
So no, so my nafkamina, like why Eitan suggested very good. This is a good point. Just take a big cup. What's the problem? The problem is this next line.
drink majority of the cup.
This next line is veishtek.
I drink the whole
It's the whole cup. Kula or rubo.
6 ounce cup.
You're an alcoholic.
Very good.
Half is all you need.
Tavolav bracha maybe, and if you can still stay awake for the seder. Don't forget your mitzvah for the night.
Hey, what if he costs filling up the cup? Is here cost filling up the cup?
No more. It doesn't have to spill. Doesn't have to spill. Doesn't have to spill. Needs to be full, but doesn't have to spill. Yeah, till the brim, but doesn't have to spill. It doesn't have to spill over.
Is there a school for Parnas off that spills?
If there, I don't. Maybe I don't know. I need to learn more.
If I only
Go
have,
to all the Persian people.
I only
You
have
tell
this
the
much,
old Persian people
only
they
have
have to
this
fill the
much
cup over.
wine with a cup this big, right?
That's a separate question. Kiddush. One sec, we'll get to it. But I want to finish. It's a good. It's a very important question. If it has a repeat, it's okay. I don't know. That's what Jacob said. It could be. I don't know. But one sec. This is very important. One sec, guys. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up right now. So the Maran writes, "Veishtek kula or rubo." Either all of it or majority of it. So first and foremost, what are these shitot? It's a malchoka rishonim. If you have to drink all of it or not, bediavad or not. The Gemara in Pesachim Kufcher Amud Bet Amar V'Yehuda Amar Shmuel Arba kosot halalu tzarich sheyishe behem kedei mizigat kos yafeh. Hishka men levinya lebanav v'notav yatsa. Amar Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak v'huish de'ash ruba de kasa. He's talking about these 4 cups need to have a nice amount so you can feed your children. And the Rav Nachman adds, Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says, as long as you drink majority of the cup. Machalka rishonim. Is that l'chatchila or b'diavad? Can I drink majority of the cup? Can I drink majority and not all lechatchila, or is that only b'diavad? The Tosfot on that Gemara in Pesachim says lechatchila you have to drink a revi'it, and b'diavad if you drink the rov, you're okay. What's a rov? Melo lugmav, cheekful. Okay. The Ran and the Tur disagree and say even lechatchila.
They have a huge cup though.
Even that's the problem. That's why this is so important. the Ran and the Tur say even lachatchila drink rov revi'it based on this Rav Nachman and the Gemara. The halacha the Shulchan Aruch seems like he's posek like the Tosfot, because based on the Mishnah Berurah's understanding, Mishnah Berurah explains that it's lechatchila kulo or bediavad rubo. But why is this so important? I think Rav Ovadia, let me check over here. Hainu kulo lechatchila rubo bediavad. Mishnah Berurah writes in Seif Katan Lamed. Hainu kulo lechatchila rubo bediavad. And now the Rav Ovadia, the Pri Chadash writes lechatchila tzarich kulo. וכן כתבו שולחן גבוה ואמר מרדכי ובן איש חי אור לציון and Chazon Ovadia that lechatchila drink the entire cup. So now that's important that we have established that according to Rav Ovadia Mishnah Berurah lechatchila you need to drink the entire cup. Therefore, that's why we don't take 6 ounces and drink only 3 ounces. Why? Because I want to drink the entire cup. There's 2 things I have to. It's a juggling match.
Would you say it's a hefsek then if you do drink the other half of the cup? Let's say you have a Reviit, but then you still have leftover in the cup. What is that? You have to drink the whole cup
In one shot.
I think your question is even better because we know you shouldn't drink more cups in between cups 1 and
that's
2.
what I'm
So
saying.
based on that, I have no idea. I think if it's while you're drinking, it's okay. But if you put it down and you come back a few minutes later, you shouldn't.
Hey, should we?
Go back
But
to
that's
school, you shall.
so that's why tying it all together, lechatchila, I'm very adamant on take a 3 ounce cup. 3 ounces is more than 86 grams. Therefore, you take a 3 ounce cup. For us, we have don't be proud, don't be scared. We have our shitot, Rav Ovadia, we have our minhagim, Rabban Chaim, and therefore with my 3 ounce cup, I can drink the entire cup and it's no problem. Therefore, I'm mekayem the lechatchila of the maran and the having the entire cup, while I'm also being true to our minhag to have a reviit based on Rav Ovadia. So now, just to wrap it up, they gave a nice siman, a nice a trick to remember the 2 shitot. What's the shita of Hagon Rav Chaim Naeh?
Kos.
86. How do you say that? A gematria of kos. What's a kos? Cup. Kaf 20. Vav 6. Samech 60. 86. That's how you remember his shita of having 86 grams. And then what about Chazon Ish or Tzlach? Kos Hagun. Kos Hagun. What's Kos Hagun mean? What is it?
Fitting.
A fitting cup, a big, a nice cup, yeah. A fitting cup, chashuv cup. What's the gematria of that? Kos is 86.
It's
Hey 5, Gimel 3, Vav 6, Nun 50. What does that add up to? 150. So that's the trick to remember the 2 shitot. Again, there are Moshe Feinstein says in the middle, Rabbi Kiva and Chatam Sofer are more, but we have our minhag to have Reviit based on Hagon Chaim Naeh. Rav Ovadia even said it's a little less. Take a 3 ounce cup, fill it up to the top, drink the entire cup. You get the chumrah of the maran of kulo, not a chumrah, the halacha of the chatzchila having the entire cup and the 3 ounces. Shalom Yisrael. Don't have to worry. Don't have to be scared. Be proud of our Masorah, be proud of our tradition. This is a quick synopsis of the sugya of the shiur hakos, the measurement of the cup, and drinking the entire cup or not. Chazak Baruch Hu. Thank you for listening.